Scott, what about you? I thought that, Corey, I was looking at listening to the speech and looking at the reaction from, at moments, former Prime Minister Justin Trudeau, but also former Prime Minister Stephen Harper. There was more in the speech, I felt like, that you would have heard from Prime Minister Harper back in the day than you might have from Prime Minister Trudeau.
Yeah, look, it's not surprising that it feels different than the Trudeau government. Mark Carney campaigned and came to power almost entirely on the basis that he represented change. But I want to go to the big thing. And the big thing is our relationship with the United States. The big thing is what would the king say? And even in the veiled vocabulary of the king, I thought this was pretty forceful and direct. And I would point out two specific words, two words that I think were quite deliberately chosen and that provided enormous emphasis. And we've talked about the passage at the end, right? It's the true north is indeed strong and free. It's the placement of the word indeed. That is a flashing siren toward the United States. That is an expression of muscular independence. And then earlier in the speech, we're talking about how Canada can retain for itself and how it can maintain what any foreign power on any continent might take away. And I think that that phrase, any continent, again, that word any inserted there, because when we talk about those things, that sort of sounds like a familiar phrase, except for the fact that our minds are cast to some overseas threats. When we say any continent, it's clearly meant to communicate that these days the hostilities come from Donald Trump in the Oval Office here on our shared North American continent. So I thought that it was pretty explicit by the standards of regal communication.